welcome to Fiber Town. This is episode 193, and it is what day is it? 26th of May, 2017. I'm confused because I'm running out of room in my show notes notebook, and that's pretty amazing. In fact, I was trying to use the next page, but it is full of this. This is a menu for some forgotten dinner party. It was a good one. Oysters and champagne sauce, focaccia with roasted garlic. Roasted garlic, it's good stuff. Tea-cured salmon, shrimp with brandy. This was a tapas dinner, wasn't it? Paella, pinchos, roasted cauliflower, tortilla, cava, Manhattans. Yes. This was lavender ice cream, lemon souffle. This was an old dinner party. I hope it was a good one. It's full of food stains. I think it was a good one. At any rate, sorry about that little digression. I am so glad you're all here. It is, again, impossible to light me today because it's been rainy and cold and the sun is going in and out of the clouds. Sorry, I do my best. I think we've established before that I'm not a professional. But hello everybody. Should I re-record this? Probably not. Probably I should, but I will not. So let's just keep going. Yeah, this is episode 193. So you're probably used to this by now. If you're brand new, hi, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about today. We have a few things just to mention briefly. We have one FO, some works in progress, some spinning, and fleece preparation. One acquisition, and later on I will show you some bags that are going for sale that I have made in my Etsy shop, Fibertown. And that is the update will be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Did I say 10 a.m. or 11? And the link is in the show notes. It's down below if you're on YouTube, and it should be in the notes on the iTunes feed as well. So, yes. Everybody, the Summer of S starts next Thursday. Oh, so I misspoke about the bag update. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's tomorrow, Saturday, the 27th. Let's keep going. So the Summer of S, we have some amazing prizes offered so far. The Amazing Woolly Thistle is donating a $25 gift certificate to her shop. She's just the best. And also the best is Quilter Caroline, who has two beautiful new patterns out. Mountain Air, and they both have mountain in the names. And I think the other one is Mountain Path, and I really love them both. And she is offering several patterns. So she's Clotheslines Designs. So check her out if you cannot wait, because this Summer of S Knit Along runs from Thursday, 1st of June until the 1st of September. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people participate. I'm hoping you'll participate. I will put up a thread next week with all of the details. DP Temple, who is also the best, is offering a $10 pattern donation. And also the best is Boston Jen, who is offering her Emmeline May pattern. I will be offering things too. A skein of hand-spun yarn for my shop. I also sell hand-spun yarn in there, so if you're interested in that, take a look. As well as a project bag. Now, if you have something you'd like to donate and you're a maker, let me know. I'd be happy to feature that here, and I'm sure people would be happy to see it and have it as a giveaway. So that is our knit along coming up. And yeah, thank you to everyone who has offered something. I wanted to say two quick podcast recommendations as I sit here knitting. The first one is Mrs. M's Curiosity Cabinet. I don't think I've mentioned her before. We happen to share an intro theme, so she obviously has very good taste. And she's got a very wonderful podcast that's focused, unlike this one. But it's an audio podcast, so it's very focused on sort of ecological living through slow fashion, for lack of a better term. I'm probably mis-explaining her her thesis for her podcast, but that's the crux of it. And she talks about sort of urban gardening as well, and she lives in London, I think. Yes, I think so. Very interesting podcast, educational, provides fodder for developing your thinking, which I adore. Thank you, people like that who are out there in the world doing that. Hopefully sometimes you get a nugget like that from me, but most often I'm just rambling. Oh, the other one I wanted to mention is Transient Wool Merchants. They are back. Scooter Pie and Amy, they're back with their audio podcast. Check them out. They're on iTunes, probably other places too. But they have done a lot of I love the addition of Scooter Pie to the podcast. I feel like maybe we're going to get a lot more sort of sheep raising and farm and sheep genetics kind of talk, which is very interesting to me. So, yeah, let's start with an FO. Actually, let's start with what I'm wearing. It's cold. It's cold and overcast, and I put on a Scout tee out of Liberty of London Lawn, which is now really too big for me. The neckline is just, it's big. So the sleeves are too big. I think I'm going to cut it up and make a sorbetto tank or some other tank out of it. And I'm wearing my Buccaneer because Finn yarn is gorgeous and soft and lovely. And this is probably the warmest way to wear this shawl. I'm tempted to buy some tuku wool from the Woolly Thistle, but I have a lot of yarn. And I just knit something out of Finn, you guys. It's so wonderful. This is my hand spun Finn, this one. But check it out. Buy it so I don't have to, because I'm very tempted. Okay, so my FO this week is my woven blanket. Now you guys have been seeing this in various stages, and it's done. I wove 2 big pieces on my rigid heddle, and I have a 32-inch Ashford, and then I mattress stitched them, mattress seamed them. The seam is right at this gray and dark line. It went really well. It behaves like a mattress stitch on knitting. So on the back, you have a bit of a seam right there. Nothing major, really. So I have a 5-foot plus foot wide and 6-foot long blanket. So this is actually kind of what I want to bundle up in. So yeah, I'm in love with that, and I'm plotting my next weavings. I don't know what I want to do. I have all of the Madeline Tosh unicorn tails, and I collected those over about 2.5 years. So it's $300 worth of yarn, approximately. And it's approximately 3,000 yards. And I have all of the colors. Yeah. They're mini skeins. I have all of the colors. I would just treat myself to 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 when I would go visit Looped Yarnworks in DC when my daughter started to go to school in DC, and I was picking her up once a week. So I would just treat myself, and I collected them, and I love the colors. But I've since discovered that I hate the yarn. I hate knitting with it, at any rate. I think, it's a singles yarn, so I'm already limited to what I can make. And I really detest this particular brand of superwash. It feels lifeless and plasticky. So I really don't like it. But I was thinking of doing a black warp and then weaving with the rainbow colors and making a skirt. Because singles do have lovely drape, and skirts with lovely drape are lovely. So I'll need to sample that, see what happens. But I think a rainbow skirt could be nice. I thought about destashing the whole collection, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so that's weaving, and that's my 1 FO today. Now I have picked up, let's just talk about this one since I'm knitting it. This is Trailing Clouds, Mind the Gap. Little British love going out there into the world. And this is BFL in nylon. It's all the colors of the tube stations in London. And this is what I have so far. It's not seen a lot of work because I have a new cast on. I might as well show you that now. It's the Hansel Hap by Gudrun Johnston. And this is going to be a special project. I cast on a week ago this evening, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. It's the inside of a hap shawl. A hap shawl is a Shetland style shawl. Hap just is a verb as well as a noun. To hap up is to bundle up, basically. So a hap is something you bundle up in, or in which you bundle up. And I'm using special yarns. I'm using a lot of hand spun, and I want to call this my friend's hap. Let me tell you why. So in a hap shawl, a traditional one, you knit a square, and you knit it on the bias. So you start at a point, and you increase until you get to the midway, and then you decrease. And I'm on the decreases. So the very first yarn I used here is Eloise. And Eloise is a fleece I shared with my friends at Rhinebeck this year. And we did Fleecewise series where we discussed sort of how the fleece gets to a festival. So we talked to some farmers. Then we did choosing a fleece at a festival, washing it, and then preparing it. So I did that series with Claire of New Hampshire Knits and Sarah of Fiber Trek and the other Sarah of Yarns at Yinhu. So I had 2 skeins of Eloise, which I spun, still quite full of lanolin, so it's proving to have a lot of drag as I knit with it, but I adore how it feels. I love it. It's a worsted weight, and the Hansel Hap is written for fingering weight. So I'm using a US 9, which I think is a 5.5 millimeter needle, and I had enough of Eloise, I thought, but I wasn't sure, to do the entire first square. So what I have done in the middle, sort of equidistant from the corners, is I have put Moneypenny, which is another Shetland handspun from my friends at the Ross Farm, as well as, let me find him, where is he? Brutus, which is a Romney Weather. I don't have the rest of the ball of Brutus, but it's a gorgeous gray, lavender gray Romney. So I've striped Moneypenny and Brutus in the center. I love the hand of both of those. Magnolia, Megan, if you are listening, get to work on Brutus. He's going to make an amazing sweater. Amazing. Can't stop squishing the center part. So I've started back up with Eloise, the Shetland, and I will finish the center square maybe this weekend. But it's going to be massive and Shetlandy and lovely. And so all of these center yarns are Friends yarns. Now, the exterior and border are all going to be Friends yarns too. This is the rest of Moneypenny, who is a Shetland ewe from the Ross Farm in Pennsylvania. I purchased her fleece from Scooter Pie and Amy and processed and spun it. Shetlands felt very easily, and this was where I learned that particular trait as I was preparing this, this fleece. I combed the wool and spun it 3-ply. So this is all for one fleece, Moneypenny, and I can't remember her markings and color names because they're all in the wonderful Shetland names that I've just not retained. So if I need other colors for the border, and I probably will put some of these in there, I'm going to use the Shetland from my Camaro sweater. All the Shetlands today. So I have this beautiful cream, I have the gorgeous black, Morit, and the gray. So all of the Shetlands in this hap, which just seems appropriate. Yes, that's it for Shetland today. And what else do I want to tell you about? I have gone back to my Camaro sweater. I've finally solved, I hope, the problem of the sleeve yarn. We went to a different craft store and I've picked up some more Patons Classic Wool that it's a good enough match. It's in the right colorway. It's the Aran color rather than the blinding winter white. Speaking of blinding, the sun just came out. Oh my goodness. So I'm knitting the sleeves on 12-inch circulars, which is my preferred way to knit sleeves on a sweater where the sleeves are attached to the body, or sort of knit down from the body and the body is completed. So there it is, the Camaro out of Shetlands and Patons Classic Wool. And yeah, that would be a great thing to finish this weekend too. It is a 3-day weekend here and I'm done working for the week. So I feel like I'm on vacation. So yeah. That's it for works in progress. Although I am ready to put another hand spun sweater on the needles. Almost ready. I'm thinking about it. It's imaginating at this point. So, hand spun, let's talk spinning. I've been doing a lot of fleece processing. I'm nearly finished washing the Clun Forest. In fact, if the sun would just stay out, I would wash the rest of it this afternoon. But it's just been stormy and rainy and weird. Strange weather. It's usually quite hot by now. And if you saw my little garden video, I hope you liked it. Yeah, the garden's waterlogged. At any rate, I would like to wash fleece. I would like to have good fleece washing weather. I did wash this from the Ross Farm, and this is, I think, a Shetland Leicester Longwool cross. Blending the wools in the breeding, in the genetics. Gorgeous color. Just stunning. A long staple. It was about 5 to 6 inches. Soft. Gorgeous. I combed it. I'm just undoing the nest of top that I made here. And I'm going to spin this. Guess when? This weekend. I'm going to do everything this weekend. No, I'm probably just going to try to get some extra sleep because that would be most welcome. Let's see. I would also like to do some clothing, sewing. I have plans, but I haven't gotten to execution stage yet. All right, I did make a bat out of my Hog Island, and I'm very excited. It's so spongy and fun. Oh, and I did some sampling with my Icelandic fleece that I purchased at Rhinebeck this past fall. This is such a sheepy fleece. It's super sheepy. So I have 1.5 pounds, exactly 24 ounces of this wool. And I don't want to oh my gosh, it's so strong. I 2-plied it. I think it needs a bit of a tighter twist. But I didn't want to give it, no, maybe it doesn't, because I feel like that would increase the scratch factor. This is 90 yards. I didn't weigh it, but I would like to spin enough for a sweater, so I think I need to have it be a 2-ply. I really don't want to spin it too thin either, so again, a little thicker single and then 2-ply it rather than a thinner single and a 3-ply. I want a drapey sweater. You know, I feel like with the scratch factor, I don't want it too close to my body all the time. But I would love to dye some of it and maybe do some natural dyeing for some yoke details. Yeah. So that's the Icelandic. That's my next big spin that's in progress. And that was my sample. I think I might swatch it this weekend and see how it knits up. I think my next spin is going to be the Hog Island because it's small and I just can't wait to spin it. And then my next spin will be my Gotland fleece. Yes, it will. I think I might drum card it. I'm not enjoying combing it, strangely. Sometimes I counterintuitively prepare fiber. If it's a long wool, I might card it. If it's a Hog Island, I might comb it, which is crazy because the staple's so short. But I learned from the Deb Robeson, La Robeson, that there are no rules in fiber prep, and you should do what makes you happy and gives you the yarn you want. And in fact, that's how I spin. I'm not interested in sort of analytical or technical spinning at all. I will say that could change. And in fact, there have been times when I've tried to achieve something and haven't been able to do it intuitively. And in that case, I go in search of the answers I need. But I'm not interested in approaching my whole spinning practice in that way. And generally, I can spin something that I like. And if it's not exactly how I pictured it, in the first place, I try not to have rigid expectations for anything in my life. But if it's not exactly how I wanted, I let it sit, and eventually some way of knitting it in an excellent way will present itself. It's all part of the mystery. So that's it for spinning. In about 5 weeks, a little less than 5 weeks, I will be going to Spain with my kids. My husband will already be there. And I'm a little sad to be separated from my wheel for that long, but I will take spindles. But I just have all these fleece spins on my mind, and I don't want to do them on spindles. So, speaking of spinning and wheels, the Tour de Fleece is coming up, and in fact, I think we're going to be in Paris when the Tour de Fleece arrives. The Tour de France, when it arrives. So, maybe I'll do a little spinning on the sidelines. We'll see. Okay, so one acquisition this week, and that is this. This is Laine. It is a magazine published by some, it's amazing. It's published in Finland. It's knitting, it's quotes, it's recipes, it's 2 or 3 articles, some beautiful advertising. Oops, showed a chart. And one pattern that I must knit. There are several others that are quite nice, but truly there's only one that I have to have. And it's this one, Birkin. Now, wouldn't this be gorgeous out of my Icelandic? Because this comes from so far away, and because it is a hefty and well-produced, and I just have to say, look at the patterns. They give a little sketch, a little not a watercolor. Maybe there is some watercolor in there, watercolor and sketching. Because it is so well-produced, because it comes from so far away, it's expensive. It's very expensive. I have a little bit of a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach over how much I spent on this for one pattern that I want to knit. Now, this is the second issue of this, and the shipping cost was maybe 1/4 of the entire cost of the magazine, so you can imagine. This is the second issue, as I was saying, and the first issue, the patterns are not on Ravelry yet, and that was in January. I don't know when or if they will ever be put on Ravelry. So I bought this for the one pattern. And I'm not somebody who wants to collect magazines. I'm letting my subscription to Ply lapse. I'm not going to buy that anymore. I do subscribe to Taproot. It's amazing. It's affordable. But I don't like to have a lot of magazines in my house. I just find that over the years it's been something that I just get rid of without really using them. I know I will knit this one. And so I have reconciled I'm in the process of reconciling myself with the purchase of this. So, yeah. Laine magazine, which means wool in French. So, that was a little weird, wasn't it? Well, it's just, for the reasons I stated, kind of hard for me to buy that. But I feel like maybe they're not ever going to put the patterns on Ravelry, and that's how they're going to get people to buy the magazine. Yeah, that's a lot of paper and ink and fossil fuels to get at places. That's all I'm saying. Okay, moving on. I have some bags for sale. I have been having a lot of fun with a lot of very fun fabrics. Now I showed you this one. This is my bee platitudes with the honeycomb lining. Super fun. And this is a drawstring. And it's got a single-ended drawstring. And when it's open and full of stuff, and it could fit quite a lot, it could definitely fit a sweater project, it will stay open. It has quilt batting in it, so it's very cozy and squishy. I have several of those, and I have one that has no interfacing at all. So this one is much, you know, you could just pop this in a bag, has a lot less bulk to it. So those are the bee bags. Now I have this very fun fabric, gorgeous mustards and beautiful trees, and in fact, this tree here looks like yarn. So muslin, lining, pull tab, and wrist strap. Now I have one of these. I love this fabric. Little girl riding a horse. Isn't that beautiful? And this is a squishy interfacing too. So more of a quilt interfacing. White zipper and this gorgeous, very fun Osnaburg muslin, which is a really interesting fabric. You should look up Osnaburg. I first heard about it from Shop Teasel, Kimberly. The font of interesting textile arts facts. And then I have this, and this is super colorful African baskets. So, yeah, small. So sock or hat project, Osnaburg lining, wrist strap. Aren't they fun? Yeah, super fun. I have several of those. And then I was trying out a fabric that I don't think I will sell. I might give this to my husband for Father's Day. So this is an amazing quilting fabric, but I don't like how it's behaving. You can see it's sort of wrinkly, but it comes in this is 2/4 of it cut out. Look, it's like a gradation of turquoises into darks. Really beautiful colors. So I figure he can use this for travel and knitting. Yeah, there will be about a dozen bags for sale, and I hope you guys find something that you like. You can probably hear my dog scratching to get out. So I'm going to go open the door, and I'm going to say take care till next time.